This podcast was produced by OAR FM Dunedin with support from New Zealand On Air.
Welcome to 4 Countries in 40 Minutes, a podcast series based on the book Esplin, Tom and Edith's Creative Journeys, compiled by Donald Offwood. I'm that blind woman, Julie Woods, and alongside me is my husband and artist, Ron Esplin. Hello, Ron.
Hi there, Julie.
Welcome back for the final instalment.
And we're speaking English.
We are. And together we're going to cover 4 of the countries that Tom and Edith visited in their lifetime, featured in this book. This is podcast 4, and country 4 is Turkiye.
And Istanbul, of course.
Yes. What is the illustration that your father Tom painted for Turkiye, which was Turkey, but now Turkiye, which is Turkiye, for those of you who haven't noticed the change?
The painting that Julie's referring to is one of probably the most spectacular building in Istanbul, and that is the one that's most famous is Topkapi Palace, of course, but the beautiful church of the Golden Horn with the what do they call it, Julie? Can you remind me?
Minaret?
Yes, that's it. Yeah, and it just stands there almost like a sculpture, with the rest of the buildings, spectacular buildings, sitting around. As in the words of my mother, there is no doubt that the Bosphorus is a waterway unique, unchanging yet restlessly unique. Its surface constantly ruffled by the passage of seagoing cargo boats, bringing goods into harbour from all points of the compass, as it has been doing for centuries, loading Turkish goods for export to the world, shunting and shuffling passengers to and fro across the busy local ferries, welcoming and farewelling those visitors by the thousands who have come here to share for a brief period in its way of life. All these tasks Istanbul has been fulfilling daily. She's had a great deal of experience by now in such things and goes about in her particular way, most successfully from the time each early morning that the huge orb of the sun climbs sleepily through the soft haze, bringing light and warmth to the city. There's a special aura that covers Istanbul. It has something to do with the fact that its citizens grew up in a country straddling east and west, one foot in Europe and the other in Asia, drawing from each, distilling the essence that is all its own. Each day from the world come those who gaze in wonder at its mosques and minarets, its palaces and those old mausoleums so full of character that line the shores of the city. Istanbul, with all the wiles and wisdom of Eastern countries, spreads out its city as it displays the beautiful wares it has in abundance to tempt and enchant humanity. For those who can resist the possibility of a bargain or the temptations and delights offered in such profusion. By noon, everything is in full swing. Traffic roars and snorts, tugs hoot. Ocean liners make deep sounds like roaring bulls. The cries and whining calls of street vendors are all but drowned out by rattling carts bumping over old cobblestones. All is blare and bustle until someone around the mid-afternoon the harshness becomes subtly muted. The heat of the sun less strong, as it begins to tire a little. When late afternoon approaches, then Istanbul comes into its own, softening the outlines of its low hills, covering them imperceptibly with a pale lilac veil that deepens to purple as that larger-than-life enormous crimson sun gathers its failing strength into one concentrated burst of energy and produces a dramatic finale to the day that world knows as the sunset over the Golden Horn. This symphony of glorious colour and light Istanbul creates once again for all those who care to look. It seems as effortless a production as all great and wonderful masterpieces, but it is a magic thing. For the millions who have looked upon it, something remembered always, the very essence of Istanbul itself. We sailed into the city of the Golden Horn early this morning and have been moored here all day. We decided to go by local bus up to the Topkapi Palace and try to see the harem. As on the 2 occasions when we were here before, it was closed for some reason. The system here in Istanbul, as in a number of other countries, is that tickets have to be purchased beforehand from kiosks. We found a bus stop, but the kiosk beside it did not sell bus tickets, as our request brought a shake of the head and a pointing finger. On following the direction of the finger, we saw a small low table a few yards from where we were standing. At this table sat a dignified elderly man who presided over rows of bus tickets, already laid out on the tabletop and kept in place by small coins. We bought the tickets and asked the old man the numbered bus to Topkapi, and he responded by tracing the numerals 2 and 4 with his finger on the surface of the tabletop. Soon a bus arrived after several others had come and gone. It didn't have a 24 in it, but it had the word Topkapi printed on the side, and that was good enough for us. The elderly gentleman looked up, saw the bus, leapt up with surprising agility, indicating that we should get on. We did so, and were whirled off in a series of fits and starts, so that, as usual, we had nothing to hang on to, so we could reach to prevent ourselves from being pitched forward. Well, that's Topkapi Palace. I won't say any more about it, because Julie and I went there, of course, and it really is magic, isn't it? Magical.
It's a beautiful city, and I love your mother's observations of straddling two continents, Asia. I think 3% of Turkiye is in Europe and 97% is in Asia. So it's got that gorgeous mix which she observed, and of course the architecture is a great example of that, isn't it?
And that the light that she described is so characteristic of that particular part of the world.
Your mother and father, Tom and Edith Esplin, travelled their lifetime from 1967 was the first diary entry in this book, going right up to that recent entry of 1990. That they went everywhere, didn't they? Your father photographed and then came home and painted what he saw, and your mother, of course, wrote their diary entries. Your mother died on the 6th of January 2002, Ron, and then your father on the 5th of April 2005. When your father died, he had painted 3,500 paintings, mainly in his retirement, and there were none left when he died. They were all sold. It was very successful, wasn't it?
Impressive, absolutely. Yeah. And I'm doing quite the opposite. And I'm keeping them all. I'm not giving them away.
The family, what do they call that? The artist collection. I guess the book is a tribute to them and to his body of work and to your mother's body of writing. How great did it feel to publish the book and to honour them in this way?
Well, it was something that the family as such, the children, my sister Dorothy and my other sister Jenny, and my brother Clark, we could say there was some agreement in that the two brothers decided that this is a wonderful thing to do, and the two sisters didn't want to touch it with a 40-foot barge pole, as my sister Dorothy said. So anyway, that just worked out really nicely. So Clark and I published the book on our own.
With the great assistance of Donald Offwood, of course.
True.
Yes. And was it hard to pick the paintings, which ones to choose?
Oh, absolutely, because 3,600 paintings, it's pretty hard to work out how many pages you would expect to have with that number of paintings.
Yeah, amazing. Astonishing. Well, thank you, Ron, for sharing your mother's writings and your father's works with us in this podcast series. You've been listening to 4 Countries in 40 Minutes, a podcast series based on the book Esplin, Tom and Edith's Creative Journeys, compiled by Donald Offwood, published by Caxton Press in 2007. If you'd like to contact me, that blind woman Julie Woods, you can do so by sending me an email to julie@thatblindwoman.co.nz or to ron@ronesplinartist@gmail.com. This has been podcast 4 of 4. We made it, Ron. We got to the end. Thank you for sharing. It's been a beautiful thing to be able to do with you.
It's like organising those books all over again without the pain.
That's lovely. Thank you, and thank you everybody for listening. I'm that blind woman Julie Woods, proud sponsor of 7 Wonders in 70 Minutes. The World in 360 Minutes is a sound project containing 36 10-minute episodes taking you across the globe. We started with the first series, Around the World in 80 Minutes, and then 7 Wonders in 70 Minutes. In these podcasts, we explore what we see when we travel, me through my 4 senses and Ron through his paintbrush. You can check me out, That Blind Woman Julie Woods, at thatblindwoman.co.nz or ring me on 021 913 513. Why not?
This podcast was produced by OAR FM Dunedin with support from New Zealand On the Air.